Hello, hello, hello. Michelle Glover here. Welcome to today's LinkedIn Live. And when I tell you I am so excited about this topic, I am. And I say this all the time, but it is the topic of mentoring. So earlier this week, I posted on my page really supporting someone who's been instrumental in my business journey. And she was up for Entrepreneur of the Year or nominated. And so I shared that with my LinkedIn audience to really encourage people to vote and support her nomination because she has been such a blessing to me and so supportive and helpful in my career journey. And I wanted to do the same in her business journey. So I posted that. But then it had me thinking of mentors and people who have been instrumental in my career journey. I can tell you that I've received so much support and guidance through mentors, and it has really shaped not only who I've become in business, in corporate America, but who I've also become as a person. So I want to talk about mentoring and how that can really help catapult your career and your business journey. So last month, I talked about game changer activities. And so if you did miss last month's LinkedIn Live, please tune in because it was a good one talking about game changer and that one thing that you can do that's going to have an exponential impact on you achieving your goals by the end of the year. So if you missed it, you can watch it on YouTube or you can go back to my stories and check out the LinkedIn Live on Game Changer. But one game changer that you can do for the remainder of the year, if you don't already have one, is get a mentor. A mentor is a game changer that can really change the trajectory of your business and your career journey, and as well as your life. So, I want to talk more about that and the value of it, the pitfalls of it, because let me tell you, when done wrong, mentoring can leave a sour taste in you and your mentor's mouth. So, we don't want that. But when done right, it can really help be a guiding light to you. So, I'm going to make sure that I have this also on my phone, so that way if you do have questions about mentoring and you want to ask them, put those in the chat because I want to make sure that if there's any questions that I address them. So first, let's talk about the value of a mentor. Mentors can serve many purposes in your career or business journey, but the first thing you have to decide is, what do you need? I often get from people, I need a mentor. I need a mentor. And I said, yes, what do you need? And they say, I need a mentor. But what are you looking for that mentor to help you address? Now, it could be for a specific challenge that you're going through at the moment. And so you need someone to give you their expertise and their guidance to help you get through that moment in time, whether that's 6 months or a year in your business or in your career. So they can help you in that specific area where you're facing challenge. Also, a mentor can give you that overall oversight, right? So, someone you admire who's in your field and your subject matter expertise, and they say, hey, I've traveled this road. Let me give you some advice on what I've done. And so they're more, I call them like fireside chats, but they're really sharing their wisdom on their career journey with you. So that's a little bit different because it's beyond a specific need, beyond for a specific period of time, but really more of a longer term relationship. And I can tell you, I've had both. I've had someone who's more guided me from an annual basis or 6 months basis. And I've had mentors who've been there, really throughout my life. And there's value in both. So I don't want you to feel like you have to choose, but you have to say from the beginning, when I'm reaching out to this person, what do I want to glean from him or her from the mentoring experience? And mentor is also a great a great network. And so this is twofold, right? So from a mentoring perspective, they can expose you to different opportunities, different people, different networks, different organizations, and really share their network with you. But it's important to also share your network with him or her. So do you have people that you can connect him or her based on their needs? And I'm going to talk more about that later. Don't worry. And then, finally, from a mentoring relationship, it could be from a career business perspective. And you say, hey, I need, help throughout my career, throughout my business. Will you, share your wisdom, your knowledge, your network with me? So many forms that a role of a mentor could take, but it's very important for you to decide up front, what do you need? So if you are looking for a mentor and you have that question, the first question to ask is, what do I need? What do I want to gain from this mentoring partnership? Uh, Another thing, I'm going to pause here to just share. Sometimes I get the question is, Michelle, what's the difference between a mentor and a coach, right? Do I need both? What do I need? And what are they? And how do they differ? And so I share that a mentor is an expert in that field. They're an expert in that space. And so they're going to be sharing their wisdom with you. A mentor is giving you the cheat codes. This is the path that I took. You know, you're playing the video games, right? This is the path that I took. These are the hurdles that I had to face. Based on my experience, these are things that you should or should not do. And you really look at it as a data point. Nowhere is, a mentor's response or answer to you the end all be all, but it is a data point to say, hey, they've experienced this. Let me glean from that experience. So they're sharing and they're imparting in you. And from that, you can learn and shape your path accordingly. Now, the difference is a coach isn't going to be doing more telling. They're going to be doing more asking, because a coach is going to say, you have the answer inside of you. My job is to ask you the questions to pull it out from you, right? So I'm going to really support your career journey. You're in the driver's seat, but I'm going to say, hey, based on where you're wanting to go, is this the best path? Based on where you desire for your career, are these the ideal next steps? Based on the values that you set, is this the right career choice for you? So they're going to ask you the questions and have you pull out the answer from within inside of you. So the question is, do you need both? And I highly recommend having both, because the mentor is going to give you the data point, so it can be a factor in that conversation. But the coach is going to be really asking you questions to help you generate and create your career journey, and they're going to help you guide and get there. So always get that question. So I did want to lay that out. And again, I'm going to be checking the LinkedIn Live on LinkedIn as well, just to make sure that I'm not missing any questions from you all. And so far, thank you all so much for tuning in today. So one of the questions I get is, okay, I know I need a mentor, right? What are the goals of the relationship? And I said, again, at the beginning, write down what it is you want to get from your mentoring relationship. That is key. What are the goals that you want to glean? Because again, it could be a short-term relationship, or it could be a long-term relationship, or it could be helping with a specific network that you want to get exposure to, but understanding that up front. And then this is key. And most people, when they're forming a mentor relationship, they miss this second part. It's, what do I want to get from this relationship, but also, what am I willing to give? You have to decide. You also have to give something to the mentoring relationship. A mentoring relationship is not a one-way street where you get everything, you glean everything, and then you go on about your business. You say, hey, what can I give my mentor in terms of exposure to my network? They may be, having challenges with some of their employees that, if they're from a different generation, you can provide insights to them. But it's, based on what you have, are you willing to share that with your mentor? And so that is something, when you're setting up that relationship, say, hey, this is what I want to glean from the relationship, but I also want to know, what do you need? How can I add value to you in this mentoring relationship? I can tell you something. If you ask that question of your mentor, it's going to change the game, because they're not expecting that, because people always want to ask and get and receive, but they're rarely willing to give. So ask your mentor, what can I do to make sure this is a beneficial relationship to you? What can I give to help support this mentoring relationship, this mentoring partnership together? So at the beginning, understanding expectations, what do you want to get, and then what are you willing to give in the mentoring relationship? Also, when you're thinking of your mentors, I share this often. I have multiple mentors throughout my career. They have truly been instrumental in my career journey. I remember one advice my mentor, shared with me early in my career is, about the importance of failure and being willing to fail. And that's something that, when you're new in your career, I was in the HR leadership program and I'm like, no, I'm a high performer, I'm a high achiever. Failure is not an option. And she says, you are going to. But the question is how you recover from it. And so she gave me some great insights on, what to do in navigating my career when things go well as when things go wrong. So it's important to have a diverse group of mentors, and not all of your mentors should look like you. One more time for the people in the back. Not all of your mentors should look like you. I am blessed and fortunate that I've had a very diverse group of mentors. If you put them all in the same room, you would think, oh, is this the United Nations? Just because, some of that was not intentional. When I was in corporate, I was assigned mentors, but also that was even part of it was also my own part of being intentional about getting mentors who can give me different perspectives, who can give me a different lens to see and view from. So often challenges being a Black female, I may go into rooms where people don't look like me. And I cannot share enough how often I was in rooms where people didn't look like me. So it was good to have an older white male as a mentor to give me perspective, to give me insights, to help me navigate the room from his lens. So I can tell you, when you're getting your mentors and you're looking at the plate, and again, have more than one, understand the importance of diversity in terms of these mentoring relationships. Also, this is so important. Most people say, I need a senior leader as a mentor. So that's where they go. They go to the senior, they go to the highest level up in the organization, right? But that may not be what you need based on what you need. So once you know your expectation, make sure that you're finding the right person who is going to align to what you need, not title. Oh, this is good. So one more time for the person in the back. Don't base a mentor on a title only, because sometimes and oftentimes you will be disappointed because what you need from that person, they're not willing or don't have the time or the capacity to give. So it doesn't have to be, I got to go all the way to the top. It's based on what do I need? Who's the best person for the role? And sometimes that mentor could be one step up. Sometimes that mentor could be a peer, right? So if your peer is a dynamic presenter and they are amazing, they own the room, they have that executive presence that you so desire, why don't you ask your peer to be your mentor instead of going to the CEO of the organization? So again, it's diversity in terms of the demographics, but also diversity in terms of the levels of your mentor. So I love that, because I tell you, oftentimes people say, I want, you're an entry level and you're like, I want the CEO. Okay, but do you need the CEO at this point in your career? And oftentimes the answer is no. Another thing, oh, this is so good. When we're meeting with a mentor, and I always say this, right? Date your mentor first before you marry them. Date your mentor before you put a ring on it. But make sure your compatibility, your chemistry, that you have the right relationship with this person to be your mentor. You need someone where you can be vulnerable, you can share your challenges, your frustrations, and they also can be open and transparent with you. So if you go in based on a title, you oftentimes miss that chemistry. And I've been a part of HR programs where we created the mentor program. And part of the role, we said we gave it a period of time where you got to have a kind of a meet and greet with your mentor, just to make sure that it's the right fit. Because when it's not the right fit, when the chemistry is not there, when you don't feel like you can be transparent and vulnerable, you're really going through the motions in that mentoring relationship and you're not getting the value. Not only that, when the chemistry is off, neither of you are committed to the relationship. So instead of it being a positive impact to your career, it actually has the adverse effect. So very important. Before you say, yes, I want you to be my mentor, have some time for meet and greet to get to know one another. Can you talk not just work, but personal? Can you are you clicking, where you feel like this is going to be a relationship that adds value to me as well as I add value to him or her. So again, I've had people reach out to me say, "I want to be your mentor," and I'm thinking, we don't know each other. Like maybe we should, see how this relationship works. So very important in terms of getting a relationship. Don't focus on the title. Focus on the connection and the value add for both of you. So I like that. And I'm going to do a pause right here before I go into some pitfalls just to make sure that I haven't missed any questions. Now, for those tuning in, for your relationships, can you think of some of the mentors who have been instrumental in your career journey? If so, feel free to shout them out in the chat. If you have any questions about mentoring and the value that it's, any questions that I may have missed, feel free to put that in the chat. So far, I don't see any questions. So I'm going to keep this party going. But one of the things I will share, and I didn't start out this way, but I need to reset here. Every time I'm having a mentoring relationship, whether I'm working with a mentor, when I was assigned a mentor, when people have reached out to me to be a mentor, one of the things I do first is pray about it. I pray over the relationship that it will be a relationship that adds value to both of us. I pray that, God open my eyes to see sometimes it's people who I don't anticipate to be the mentor that I need, but He knows they're the mentor that I need. So I'm very prayerful about that. So if you're in that spot and you say, Michelle, I need a mentor, that's a game changer for me. Above all else, when I talked about the relationship and needs and expectations and communication and all of that, above all else, be prayerful about the partnership. Because when you get it right, it can truly add value to you. So be discerning and don't just pick on title, but pick on the person who's going to enrich your career journey and your career life. I can't believe I forgot that. That's like the first thing on my list. But it's just because I'm so excited about this topic. So I'm just running through my notes here. But I want to talk about, this is so good, the pitfalls of mentoring relationships when they have not worked. And the reasons why, because I want you to avoid some of these pitfalls. I talked about it over and over and over again about the expectations and aligning on expectations up front. I've worked with organizations and we've created these mentoring agreements. And that's where the mentor, the mentee agreed on the relationships, the duration of the relationships and expectations and goals, and they signed. That's important. If you're not in an organization and you're looking to have a mentor, I encourage you to do that. Create some type of working document on how we'll work together that you both collaborate on, because you want to get the goals and expectations, the duration right. So if it's more of a longer term, then they know up front, you know up front. If it's more like, hey, this is just for an extended period of time, I have this challenge, I need your support and guidance and wisdom, knowing that up front, but being very clear on that. And then what is your commitment looks like in terms of time. Some mentors that I have, based on their level, we meet a couple of times a year. And guess what? That's okay. And that's enough. I've had other mentors where we met more, we had a stronger cadence. So we met once a month. But it is deciding up front what the expectation is. And then you've got to be committed. You've got to be committed, but you also have to be flexible, because things, life, business commitments happen. So it can be you missed the meeting, you're a horrible mentor, versus how can we reschedule? And hey, being totally okay with, if this isn't a good time in terms of, your bandwidth to serve as a mentor, that's okay. This isn't in my notes, but I'm going to add this in here. Don't take it personal. People have commitments, not just work commitments, personal commitments, and not all the time at the moment do they have to designate to you as a mentee. Or sometimes they think they do, but then based on their work schedule, they're always moving the meeting, canceling the meeting, having to reschedule, then reschedule the reschedule, and they just don't have the bandwidth. And that is okay. Be transparent and just share, hey, if this isn't a good time, maybe we can start working together at another point in time. And if they say, And most times, sometimes they'll say thank you or no, I'll make it work. But when that happens, don't take it personal and then get in your feelings and then all of a sudden start, oh, this person's a bad mentor, etc. Versus life may have gotten in the way. Business may have gotten in the way, and you've got to be flexible and you've got to be compassionate. As I shared a couple of LinkedIn lives about being compassionate, practicing self love and loving others and being compassionate to others in their journeys, you've got to do that for you, but you also have to do that for your mentor. So it wasn't in my notes, but I wanted to add that in there because I tell you, people get in their feelings and like, oh, then it's them and they're a horrible person and oh, they don't like me. They don't. Stop. Just stop. Be compassionate to people in their journeys and be understanding and flexible. Be transparent in your bandwidth and also be flexible and understanding in theirs, because sometimes things happen. Another pitfall that I've seen is that people will rely on their mentor for every little question, every little hurdle, every little, obstacle. And they go to their mentor and they start to over rely on their mentor. That's not their job. Your mentor is not your manager. Okay. They are giving you advice and they're giving you insights, but they're not going to handhold you throughout your career journey in every nook and cranny and turn and twist and turn. They're going to give you the overview. Here's what I've done, learn, glean from it, but then go forth and be prosperous. So if you need more of that coaching support, again, that's where your coach can come in handy. That's where your coach can come into play. So don't rely on your mentor as your manager. Treat them more so as the guiding light to help you in your career journey. And then remembering that it is a two-way street. So it's not just give me all the information you have, give me the cheat codes, but it's also I'm willing to give and share and give you some of the codes that I know. Because yes, you may have a mentoring relationship, but you know some stuff too. And you can add value to that relationship. But the question is, how can you do so? So I'm going to do one quick check to make sure I have not missed any questions about mentors, to make sure I am not missing any of your thoughts, your questions. Oops. And I'm going here. And so far, I think I've covered it. Again, no questions. But let me just share with you this. On your career journey, there are I like to say you have a beautiful abundance of a garden of flowers on your career journey that are serve different purposes, right? With all of those flowers and the trees that you have in this garden, and some of those being your mentors, your colleagues, your peers, your sponsors, your collaborators, all of these people who are going to help shape your career and shape your business journey. It is so important in all of these relationships that you cultivate them. So in a mentoring relationship, it's not a one and done. Okay, yes, we're mentors. Okay, that's it. We meet once a month. That's it. But it's how can I cultivate this into a relationship where it's not just asking questions and telling, but it is a friendship. And how can I add value to them and how can they add value to my career journey? So you have the beautiful garden, but it's up to you to cultivate those relationships so that way they truly grow and thrive and help you on your career journey. So my name is Michelle Glover, Journey Unlimited. Thank you for tuning into this LinkedIn Live. Stay tuned for next month. For next month edition. But if you need any coaching support, if you need any help, if you have questions about mentoring that maybe you didn't want to ask on the LinkedIn Live, or maybe you're catching the replay, you can always message me in LinkedIn, or you can send your email to info@journeyunlimited.com. More than happy to help you with your mentoring journey. Again, answer any questions you have. If you're an organization and you say, hey, Michelle, we're looking to create a mentoring program and need some support and help in building and creating that, you can also email info@journeyunlimited.com, because I truly believe in the value of mentors. It has helped me exponentially in my career, in my life. And if there's any way that I could support you as an individual or you as a company in developing a mentoring program or mentoring relationships, I'm more than happy to do so. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and bye for now.